Hey guys, in today's video we're going to talk about Yamoshi, the first goddess of Saiyans, in a full-color fan manga. Yamoshi will return, but in a different form, to help Goku and his friends save the Earth from a terrible enemy. But for Goku to find new information about Yamoshi, we will need Shenron's help again, and you will see this amazing story now. So get one bucket of popcorn and your soda, and come with me. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Well, without further ado, let's get started. In the 7th universe, the Saiyans were catching their breath and already with their guard down because they believed that the battle against Gas was over, but Frieza appeared in the middle of the battlefield and finished off Gas by killing him. And not only that, but the Emperor ended up demonstrating that he had become much more powerful since their last meeting, which was at the time of the Power Tournament, and at that moment Goku, Vegeta, and Granola were in shock when Frieza revealed that he had achieved a new transformation that surpassed the power of Golden Frieza, and Frieza ended up naming his new transformation Black Frieza. And using that new form, Frieza managed to defeat all three warriors with extreme ease. All of them were using their powers to the fullest, and not even Goku, who was using the power of Ultra Instinct, could dodge the Emperor's blow. He didn't kill any of the three because he just didn't want to. As the Saiyans' humiliating defeat at the hands of the Emperor of the Universe, who was much more powerful than they could have imagined, Goku, using what was left of his strength, crawled on the ground to approach Vegeta, who had passed out, and Granola, who was also on the ground. He was still awake, and when Goku managed to get close to the two, he used the remaining energy he had and used his teleportation technique to teleport everyone to the Capsule Corporation. When Bulma saw her husband and her childhood friend very injured, she, with the help of her son Trunks and with the help of Goten, Goku's youngest son, who was there, took both the Saiyans to a hospital area, and Goku, Granola's request, was also taken to the medical area, and the three ended up being placed in recovery capsules where they stayed for hours. During that time, when the trio was having their strength and bodies recovered little by little, Bulma left the Capsule Corporation and began calling the name of Whis and Beerus, who, even though they were divine beings, had already become great friends with mortals, especially Bulma and her family, and after a few hours the God of Destruction and his angel arrived on planet Earth. But Bulma couldn't explain anything to either of them because not even she knew what had happened to her husband and her friend Goku. After a few hours, the trio was no longer at risk of life. It was already possible to see a great improvement because they were already able to walk even with some pain. And all this thanks to Whis, who was in the place where he used his powers to heal the trio of warriors. And with so, Vegeta began to tell everything that had happened from the moment when Goku faced Granola until the moment when Granola allied with the Saiyans to defeat Gas. And in the end, the three were defeated by Frieza and his new transformation that easily subdued Goku, who was using the power of Ultra Instinct, and Vegeta, who was using the power of Ultra Ego, and also Granola was defeated. After Vegeta explained everything that happened along with Goku and Granola, all the three were sitting at a table that was full of food, and next to them was Bulma, Whis, and Beerus, who were trying to understand how all this happened in such a short time. Bulma said, "So Frieza has been an enemy of Goku and Vegeta for a long time, who had been killed by Goku when he came to Earth to kill Goku, and then was revived after the end of the Power Tournament, now came back with everything and is now more powerful than Goku, who has the power that only angels could dominate, and Vegeta, who has a power that only the gods of destruction have. And besides that, Frieza also managed to defeat this guy, who is a Tuffle, and who has a power as great as these two?" said Bulma to see if she had really understood everything her husband told her. Granola said, "I thought you said that this human was smart, but it seems that she is not so smart because she didn't understand something as simple as that, and that's kind of disappointing." Tuffle said while looking at Bulma, who ended up getting a nerve pulsing in his forehead in anger at Granola's speech. Goku said, "She must have understood, but Bulma is the type of person who listens to the story and then summarizes it in an easier way for some people to understand. And most of the time that person is me, ha ha ha," said the Saiyan before raising his hand on the back of his neck and scratching it, then gave a wan smile. Vegeta said, "Regardless of what happened, one thing is an undeniable fact. Frieza came back, and he came back very powerful. So powerful that not even Kakarot and I are able to face him alone. And not even with Granola's help we could face the damn Frieza, and that is frustrating," said the Prince of Saiyans while looking at Granola and his Saiyan rival. Beerus said, "Frieza was already problematic before, but now with this new power, he is an even greater danger to everyone, and especially to you, Saiyans, since he has a great hatred for you too. And it is surprising that he did not kill any of you in the moment. But I think he didn't do that because he wanted to humiliate you two little by little. And in the future he will undoubtedly kill you. And when he succeeds, he will end up destroying planet Earth, said the god of destruction while looking at both the Saiyans who knew that Beerus was telling the truth. Bulma said, "Since Goku and Vegeta cannot defeat Frieza together, even using their full power, then you could use the fusion with the Potara earrings, or doing the fusion dance. After all, Vegeta and Gogeta are much stronger than you two apart." Goku said, "It would be a great solution, but I don't think it would work because the fusion with the Potara earrings lasts only 1 hour of fusion, and depending upon the amount of energy we use, the fusion will have its time reduced. And doing the fusion dance won't work either, since Frieza is now extremely powerful. And I believe that even Gogeta using Super Saiyan Blue could defeat Frieza," said Goku while looking at Bulma. And even having a good idea, Goku believes that the fusion would not be enough. Vegeta said, "Also, I would have to do that horrible dance with Kakarot, and doing that dance takes time, and Frieza already knows Gogeta's power, so Frieza would know how to face Gogeta. So I believe it wouldn't be a good idea," said the Prince of Saiyans while looking about what could happen in a battle between Gogeta and Frieza. Granola said, "In short, in a quick and easy way, you have no idea how to face that damn Frieza, and much less do you have the power to defeat him and protect this planet. Damn it." Vegeta spoke, "You talk as you were able to face him alone, don't you, Granola?" Whis said, "I think you better calm down, because it doesn't matter who's right or wrong in this matter, because you all have the same goal, which is to defeat Frieza. Why don't you try to ask Shenron for help? Maybe he won't find more information about Yamoshi," said the angel while looking at the Saiyans, who was surprised to see Whis talking about the Dragon of Desires. Bulma said, "It's true. Maybe we don't have a way to defeat Frieza, but maybe Shenron has an idea," said the surprised and excited woman. After all, she already had the Dragon Balls in her possession, and could ask the dragon for help, who had helped them many times in the past. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on planet Earth, it was possible to see Son Goku, Vegeta, Granola, Whis, and Beerus gathered in the backyard of the Capsule Corporation. Everyone was waiting for Bulma, who had entered the Capsule Corporation to get the Dragon Balls that were with her. Bulma believed that even if Shenron couldn't stop Frieza, who was much more powerful than before, the dragon should at least know how to defeat Emperor Frieza or help Goku and his friends eliminate the threat that was Black Frieza. Goku said, "Will Shenron be useful this time? Not that he's useless. After all, if it weren't for Shenron, many of us wouldn't be alive today. And I'm one of them. After all, I've died a few times, and without Shenron's help, I would be dead, and Vegeta would have destroyed or conquered the planet. And later, he would have been killed by Frieza. At that time, Vegeta and I faced Frieza on planet Namek. In short, everyone we love would be dead, and the 7th universe would have been destroyed. If I hadn't given the idea of the tournament of power of our universe, it would have already been destroyed, because we don't have the ideal mortal level. So, kind of indirectly, Shenron saved the 7th universe," said the Saiyan thoughtfully as he looked at everyone around him, and saw that everyone was agreeing with him, except Granola, who didn't know even half of the things that the Saiyan and the Z fighters had faced over the years. Vegeta said, "You talk that way, it makes you look like an intelligent Saiyan, Kakarot. You don't even look like the Saiyan who already has children, but doesn't even know what a kiss is," said the Prince of the Saiyans while looking at his rival, who ended up closing face after hearing what Vegeta said. Apparently, Vegeta liked to call Goku dumb or brainless, and most of the time, Goku simply ignored his comments. Beerus said, "One thing is for sure, Shenron does not have powers to change anything, much less affect Frieza in any way. But Shenron may have important information to help us defeat Frieza in some way," said the God of Destruction while looking at the Saiyans, who agreed with Beerus. After all, Shenron had not been so useful since the time the Saiyans met Beerus, who a few years ago had come to the planet to find the Super Saiyan God. Granola said, "Who exactly is this Shenron guy you talked about?" asked Truffle, while looking at the Saiyans. Granola didn't know who Shenron was until the moment, since nobody had explained anything to Granola. Whis said, "Shenron is the dragon god of desires, just like Torambo, who is the dragon god you met and made a wish to become more powerful. But unlike Torambo, Shenron has larger spears, and there's 7 spears in total. But if we are going to classify the two, I would say that Torambo is stronger than Shenron," spoke the angel, finally explaining to Granola who Shenron was and the fact that the dragon god that Granola had invoked before was stronger than Shenron, because Shenron would not be able to leave the Granola as powerful as it was. Granola thought, "So you've had a wishing dragon this whole time? If you had a dragon god or wishes all the time, why didn't you ask to become stronger in the past? then you wouldn't have died so many times, and you could have eliminated Frieza's bug decades ago. Tuffle was thought while looking at the Saiyans with a bored face. After all, if the Saiyans had the power of the Dragon God, who could grant wishes for them, why didn't the Saiyans use the power before to become more powerful and eliminate Frieza when he was still weak? Goku said, "Hey Mr. Beerus, you're stronger than Frieza in his new transformation. He called Black Frieza. So couldn't you just go after him and erase Frieza using his power of destruction?" asked the Saiyan while looking at the god of destruction of his universe, who could eliminate Frieza quickly if he wanted to. Beerus said, "I can, but I'm not going to do that," said the god of destruction with a certain disdain to Goku's request, and that surprised everyone. Vegeta said, "And why don't you do it, Beerus? You know very well that Frieza is not only dangerous for us, but for you too. I'm sure one of his goals is to eliminate you and become the new god of destruction. So why don't you eliminate the one who wants to take your position of god of destruction?" asked the Prince of Saiyans to the god of destruction of his universe, who faced him seriously before answering his question. Beerus said, "The reason is simple. This is the fault and responsibility of you two idiot Saiyans. You two always knew that the moment Frieza was revived, he would act up, just like he did several times in the past. And Frieza admitted this when the Tournament of Power ended. So the responsibility to go after him and eliminate that vermin is on you two, and yet you left Frieza aside, and in that time he became stronger. I don't know if you did it to have a more intense and exciting fight against Frieza, or if you did it because you were stupid and forgot that damn Frieza is obsessed with defeating you two, and in that, the most humiliating way possible. I will not interfere on that subject, but in case Frieza becomes a bigger threat, I myself will eliminate that worm. And I will also eliminate you two for your great incompetence," said the god of destruction in an irritated tone. After all, that could have been avoided if Goku and Vegeta had finished off Frieza after the Tournament of Power. Goku said, "But it was you yourself who told Whis to revive Frieza," said the Saiyan with one of his eyebrows raised while facing Beerus, who ended up blushing because of shame. After all, he was also to blame for Frieza being more powerful. Beerus said, "I am a god of destruction who honors his agreements, and Goku had said that he would revive Frieza, so it wasn't my fault because I just fulfilled my part of the agreement," said the god of destruction, trying to act as if nothing that had happened was his fault, and that made everyone present sigh at the thought. After the small conversation that was friendly, but became a little heavier among the group, everyone could see that Bulma was arriving at the place, and with her was Goten and Trunks, who were holding the 7 Dragon Balls with them. Bulma said, "Sorry for the delay, I had forgotten where the Dragon Balls were, and now we're here, let's invoke Shenron soon, because the more the time passes, the more Frieza becomes stronger, and with that he plans a way to destroy us all," said the human while looking at the group that was present in the place, and behind her were Goten and Trunks, who placed the spears side by side on the table. Bulma said, "Shenron, come and fulfill my wish, please." Bulma spoke while looking at the Dragon Balls that began to glow, and suddenly a light rose to the heavens, making time, before becoming closed, and soon the light took the form of a large thin dragon in the Oriental style with green scales and red eyes. Shenron said, You summoned me? Do you need me to bring someone from the dead back to life? After all, apparently that's all I'm good for you currently," said the god approaching the present beings, and some of them felt that Shenron had a certain grudge for the fact that they called the dragon god useless in their last meeting. Bulma said, "Don't hold a grudge against us, Shenron. If you want to hold a grudge against someone, hold it against Beerus, because he was the one who called you unless the last time we saw each other," said the human while looking at the dragon god of desires, and then looking at Beerus, who just rolled his eyes and looked away. Shenron spoke, "Anyway, say what you want. What can this humble dragon god of wishes do for you on this beautiful sunny day?" said the dragon god of desires in a tone of sarcasm. After all, with his arrival, the sky was completely closed and dark. Goku said, "Shenron, Frieza, who is one of our main enemies, over the years, he ended up becoming stronger, and even me and Vegeta with the help of Granola were not able to face him. We were all using our full power, and yet we were humiliated by Frieza. So we want to know if you know a way to defeat Frieza, or if there's a way to become so powerful that we can face and defeat Frieza. Can you help us do one of these things?" asked the Saiyan, looking at the dragon, who thought for a few minutes before giving an answer to Goku's question. Shenron said, "I don't know how to defeat Frieza in the state he is in, and much less how to make you more powerful. but I know someone who can help you. If I remember correctly, there are two people who could make you more powerful. One of them is a descendant of Sulfurigin, who has isolated himself from everyone, but knows a way to push the powers of a member of his race to the limit, and still managed to break that limit. And the other person is the one that day you wanted me to bring here to face Beerus-sama. And that person is the one who was the first Saiyan to become a deity, said the Dragon God, surprising the two Saiyans who were on site. Vegeta said, Yamoshi, said the Prince of Saiyans incredulously with the information he had just received. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely in the Capsule Corporation, which was the place where Beerus, the current god of destruction of that universe, and Whis visited the most when they went to planet Earth. It was possible to see that in the Capsule Corporation were gathered very powerful beings like the god of destruction, his angel, the strongest Saiyans Son Goku and Vegeta, Granola, who had the power of both Son Goku and Vegeta. In the Capsule Corporation were also present the two sons of Son Goku and Vegeta, and along with them was Bulma, Vegeta's wife. Everyone in the place was looking at Shenron, the dragon god of desires who resided on planet Earth, and had been invoked by Bulma in order to discover a way to defeat Frieza, who had achieved a new transformation. Shenron ended up revealing the name of a person who shocked everyone by still being alive, because that person was the first Saiyan to awaken the power of a god. But until that moment, that person was dead. Goku said, But how is that possible? You yourself had said that Yamoshi had died thousands of years ago. When we asked you to bring him to face Mr. Beerus at the time, he came to Earth in search of the Super Saiyan God. So explain to me how Yamoshi can be alive? Asked the Saiyan, surprised. And it wasn't just him. Everyone except Granola knew about the legend of the Super Saiyan God, and knew how strong she or he was. Shenron spoke. At the time, I knew about the legend of Yamoshi and the legend of the Super Saiyan God. But from my sources and knowledge, Yamoshi was long dead. But apparently, she is still alive. And I couldn't find Yamoshi at the time, because somehow she managed to hide. And as you know, I have a certain limit of power, and finding Yamoshi was something very difficult at the time. So since I didn't feel her power, I said that Yamoshi could not be brought to Earth, since the Super Saiyan God was a transformation and not a person. But I don't remember saying that she was dead at the time, said the Dragon God of Desires while looking at everyone who was at the place. Beerus spoke. So, the first Saiyan who managed to become a god is still alive. If Yamoshi was alive all this time, how could Whis not find her back then? Look, escaping Shenron's radar is not very difficult since he has limited power, but Whis is an angel, and is the most powerful being in the 7th universe. So how did this Saiyan manage to escape Whis? Asked the god of destruction as he looked at Shenron, who was saddened by again being seen as weaker than Whis, who just took one of his hands to his chin. Whis said, I think I should have analyzed it better at the time, said the angel, attracting the attention of everyone present, except Shenron, who already knew what the angel was talking about. Vegeta said, What are you talking about, Whis? Asked the Saiyan while he looked at the angel, who was the center of attention at that moment. Whis said, Well, at the time we came to Earth after the Super Saiyan God, there was another Saiyan with a strangely low power. It was as if this Saiyan power was sealed or limited on purpose, and I was going to talk to Mr. Beerus about the Saiyan. Said Mr. Beerus preferred to come to Earth because of Vegeta, since Beerus thought that because Vegeta was the prince of the Saiyans, he could know who the Super Saiyan God was. Said the angel while looking at his god of destruction, who turned her face away. After all, if it weren't for Beerus's impatience, Yamoshi would have been found a long time ago. Bulma said, Look, I don't know if you noticed, but when Shenron and Whis are referring to Yamoshi, other than by name, they are using the female pronoun. Hey Shenron, could you give me a description of what Yamoshi looks like, and what his or her gender is? Asked Bulma when looking at the Dragon God of Wishes, and soon everyone realized that Bulma was right. After all the many times she was used to refer to Yamoshi. Shenron spoke. Yamoshi is a Saiyan with extreme power, but she is not a man as you imagined, but a woman. Yamoshi is a woman with long white hair and eyes similar to silver. And like the ancient Saiyans, Yamoshi wears combat clothes, similar to what Vegeta normally wears, said the Dragon God of Desires, shocking everyone with the news that Yamoshi was in fact a woman and not a man. So Yamoshi, the first of the Saiyans who became a divinity, is actually a woman, and that same woman is Goku and Vegeta's hope of becoming stronger to defeat Frieza? asked the woman as she looked at Shenron, who was staring at everyone's surprised face, except Whis, who knew that Yamoshi was a woman. Shenron spoke. That's right. You all thought that Yamoshi was a man because the legend of the Super Saiyan God and the legendary Super Saiyan always referred to a man. But you should remember that at the time the Saiyans were very sexist and thought that the Saiyan women were not so strong as Saiyan men. But that began to change because of Yamoshi, who had become the most powerful Saiyan of his time. However, the king of that time ended up leaving the legend, as if he were a male Saiyan, and Yamoshi did not change anything because when Yamoshi became a goddess, she disappeared from the planet. And so the legend was created and passed down from generation to generation, until it was lost, said the Dragon God of Desires while looking at those who were present at that place. Vegeta said, That's a fact. There was never a woman who was remembered in the history of Saiyans. So not saying that Yamoshi was a woman was a way of keeping men as superior. It seems that no matter how much time passes, the past never stays in the past and always comes up to torment us. Especially I, who am the Prince of Saiyans, said the Prince of Saiyans while bringing one of his hands to his forehead. But he remembered of all the wrong his race had done over the years. Beerus said, Hey, Shenron, we need Yamoshi, so bring her here for us, said the God of Destruction as he looked at the Dragon God of Wishes, that he sighed hearing that. Shenron said, Sorry, but I can't do this. Yamoshi must have some skill that prevents me from touching her or interacting with her. Maybe it's because of her divine power or the place where she is. After all, Yamoshi has many years, and over the time, she must have mastered the powers of Super God Saiyajin to a point where her divinity surpasses even mine. So unfortunately, I can't bring Yamoshi here, said the Dragon God of Desires as he looked at everyone present and saw Beerus sigh. Beerus said, Wow, you really are useless, Shenron, said the God of Destruction after sighing. But before Beerus could speak or do anything, he ended up getting slapped on the head, and who gave that slap was Bulma. That surprised Granola, who was surprised by the fact that a weak human smacked a God of Destruction on the head. Bulma said, The only one useless here is you, Beerus, because if you were useful, you would have already killed Frieza once and for all. Now, Shenron, could you give us the location of where Yamoshi lives? Because even if you can't bring her to us, you can tell us where Yamoshi is, can't you? Asked the human while looking at the Dragon God of Desires, who was surprised by the fact that a God of Destruction had been slapped on the head by a mere human without powers. Shenron said, Yes, I know where Yamoshi is, and I can send you there if you want. But I already say that you shouldn't provoke Yamoshi, because even if she hasn't fought for a long time, Yamoshi is still the first Saiyan to reach the power of a deity, and I guarantee she's not weak at all. So if you want a tip, don't tease her, and much less talk about her age. After all, Yamoshi is still a woman, and as you know, women don't like people who ask about their age. Spoke the Dragon God of Desires while looking at Bulma, who agreed. And those who were married like Goku and Vegeta knew that what Shenron said not to do was the same thing as starting a fight with a woman. Granola said, Since that's how it is when you send Goku and Vegeta to this Yamoshi, send me to the place where this powerful Sufurujin is, so I can train with him. Said the Sufurujin, showing that he was still present in the place. Bulma said, Right. Since that's how you can send Goku and Vegeta minus Granola to the planet where Yamoshi is, and while you're going to train, I'm going to gather the other Z fighters so they're ready, in case Frieza makes an attack on our planet together with his army, said the woman as she walked away from the group. And with her was Goten and Trunks, who even wanted to meet the goddess of Saiyans. They couldn't since Bulma wouldn't let them. Shenron said, Right, then let's go, said the Dragon God of Desires, making his eyes shine. And soon everyone disappeared, and with that, the dragon spheres rose to the heavens and separated. With this, we will end today's video. If you want to see the continuation of this incredible story, leave a lot of likes in the video and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you another day, guys.